Hi, I'm Tracy Townsend, and I will be bringing you through the top stories around Columbus. The days-long search for a missing Indiana teenage girl ended here in Central Ohio. Authorities found the remains of 17-year-old Haley Busby. We'll walk you through the investigation that led to charges being filed against a Columbus man. Columbus City Schools is facing a financial crisis. The district is cutting jobs in an effort to cut costs, but leaders say even that may not be enough to prevent them from running out of money. And the city continues to feel the effects of the frigid temperatures. The cold has led to dozens of water main breaks across Columbus, and it's leaving some residents stranded in their homes with their cars frozen solid. Let's dive into these stories making headlines across Central Ohio.
After weeks of searching in Indiana, Haley Busby's remains have been found in Ohio. Suspect Tyler Thomas appeared in Franklin County Municipal Court Monday morning on pandering sexually oriented material involving a minor and tampering with evidence.
The reality is, and I'll state on the record, that my client has absolutely zero intention of making this bond.
On January 21st, Columbus police searched a Victorian Village home where Thomas was staying. According to court records, a search of Thomas's phone included sexually oriented videos and photos of Busby, some of which Thomas tried to delete.
Friday evening we got together with representatives from the FBI, and then we made arrangements to meet on Saturday. This is all at our client's request to fully cooperate with bringing closure as quickly as possible to this extraordinarily unfortunate situation.
Criminal defense attorney Sam Szymanski is representing Thomas and says his client went out with the FBI and local law enforcement to recover Busby's remains.
Our client said, you take whatever steps are necessary to bring closure to this aspect of the case. And so I believe that those actions illustrate just how deeply committed we are to doing everything within our power to help the Busbys move forward with the grieving process. So that's where we are.
Szymanski added his client intends on pleading not guilty.
I can certainly tell you that there's a difference between being responsible for certain acts of which one is not proud and also distinguishing from taking another's life. I can tell you that he will be entering a not guilty plea if and when he's charged with a homicide in this matter. The collective work that was done with our office, with everybody's help, and with law enforcement's assistance to bring much needed closure to the Busby family in Indiana.
It's my understanding there were 8 people who accused the councilperson from Ward 1 of these issues.
Mr. Brown.
As Tuesday night's council meeting wrapped up, Councilmember Devin Brown once again brought up the allegations against Councilmember Gerald Dixon of sexual misconduct with minors. The charges against Dixon were dropped in December. During those comments, Council President Thomas Potter intervened.
I need to caution you right now,
Sure.
okay? There's no active charges, so I need to have you stop commenting at this point.
I'm not talking about charges.
Potter then says if Brown doesn't stop talking about the matter, he would end the meeting.
There's been opportunity to just say simply that, I'm innocent or these...
No, stop. Again, we're not here to talk the merits. Mr. I'm going to give you one more moment.
That goes again.
We are adjourned.
It's exhausting. I mean, it's been voted on twice, and both times it went down.
Councilmember Dixon believes Brown wasn't following procedures for the meeting.
Well, here, look, I've got this with me tonight. Robert's Rules of Order, well thumbed through. There are procedures in a council meeting, and if you don't follow them, there are repercussions for that.
Dixon continues to say he can't comment on the allegations brought to light by Whitehall police.
Why is this something that you can't comment on now that the charges are dropped?
Because I don't know what the future holds, I mean, they say things are pending, but I don't know if that's true or not true or whatever. So until there's just finalization, I'm not comfortable saying anything. Because the minute I do, that's when it'll come back and say, Mr. Dixon said this at that date. And then I'll be like...
Moving forward, Councilmember Brown says he'll continue to stand up for what he believes is right.
Again, it's unfortunate, but I won't be silent, so I'm just going to keep doing what I can do.
The conditions described at the home are disturbing, and a few of the animals, including a potbelly pig and a dog, have died since they were rescued. Now the surviving animals are here at the Humane Society of Delaware County, where staff is trying to nurse them back to health. At this home off US 23 in Delaware, the Humane Society rescued 9 dogs, 5 potbelly pigs, 3 cats, 2 chickens, a duck, a rabbit, and a turtle.
We've got frostbite on the animals. The cats all had lice.
The Humane Society shared these images. Dogs zip-tied in cages, a turtle in a dirty tub, and outside, pigs trying to take shelter from the extreme cold.
The pigs were probably in some of the poorest conditions that we found. They were suffering from a hypothermia, a lack of, it was really cold out there, and it was right before we had the bad snowstorm.
73-year-old Sharon Hinton and 51-year-old Angela Kimbleton are both charged with 8 counts of cruelty to animals and 14 counts of prohibitions concerning companion animals, 1 charge for each of the 22 animals rescued. The director of the Humane Society says they've been working with this family prior to this incident. She's urging pet owners to ask for help before situations escalate.
Let us work with you, let us help you, because last year we gave out 33,000 pounds of food to the community. We want to help, but we need to do it in a proactive manner.
Taking in 22 animals at once has put a bit of a strain on the Humane Society, and the animals will not be available for adoption until this court case is over. In the meantime, they are asking for donations to help care for these animals. The 2 women charged are expected to be in court later this month. Reporting in Delaware County, Carla Rogner, 10 TV News.
According to autopsy reports from the Franklin County Coroner's Office, Spencer Tepe was shot 7 times, including wounds to the head, neck, and chest. Monique Tepe was shot 9 times, including in the face and chest. A Columbus police incident report states 9mm casings were found in the Tepe home. The autopsy report states the Tepes were pronounced dead at 10:11 a.m. on December 30th, though Columbus police said they believe suspect Michael McKee was in the Wineland Park home between 2 and 5 a.m., according to a video released by CPD. McKee, Monique's ex-husband, was arrested 11 days after the couple's death near his work in Rockford, Illinois. He was extradited to Ohio and has had his initial court appearance. A charging affidavit states McKee had been at the Tepes' residence on December 6th for several hours while the couple was out of town at the Big Ten National Championship. According to the affidavit, witnesses told police McKee told Monique that he could kill her at any time. McKee is facing 4 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of aggravated burglary. He is also facing a firearm specification for using a firearm suppressor.
Don't tie it to my home.
A group working on an amendment to the state constitution that would eliminate all property taxes in Ohio is continuing its push to make the November ballot.
We've got well over 2,000 circulators, and we keep adding more each day, and we're speaking to people throughout the state, and we're going to make it happen.
But Governor Mike DeWine renewing his warnings today against the proposal, calling it a huge threat to Ohio's financial stability.
If that passed, it would just be devastating to all kinds of local government, starting with schools, but also police and fire, and we would be in a huge crisis in the state of Ohio. The legislature at that point would have to figure out where does that money come from.
He says Ohioans would likely see costs shift through higher income and sales taxes.
Up to a 17, 18, 19%, 20% sales tax in the state of Ohio on products that you buy, so it would just be absolutely devastating.
But supporters of the proposed amendment argue cutting government spending, not raising other taxes, would offset the loss.
The size of the state government could be drastically reduced. So it's not a matter of, well, we're going to transfer what we're doing with property taxes over to sales tax.
Brian Massey formed the committee to abolish Ohio's property taxes, arguing rising home values have left many homeowners struggling.
I can't tell you how many people have called me saying they just got the tax bill, and they say, I can't afford these. I'm going to be priced out of my home.
Ohio House Speaker Matt Huffman says more property tax reform may be needed, but argues recent legislative action has dampened the push to eliminate them entirely. Late last year, lawmakers passed 5 bills totaling $3 billion in property tax relief, set to take effect in March.
If all property taxes are eliminated in the state of Ohio, that's $24 billion. And the question is, where do you come up with the $13 to $14 billion that fund public schools and the other $10 billion that fund local fire levies and a number of other things?
Massey argues eliminating property taxes instead could change how these services are paid for and cut out admin costs.
We're not anarchists. We're going to pay for, reasonable government services. It's just that we want transparency.
The Columbus City Schools Board of Education voted unanimously to cut 62 jobs, a move leaders say will save the district just over $7 million as they work to close a $50 million deficit.
That's what's really important for the community to understand, is that a lot of these things are out of our control.
Columbus school leaders say changes in the state budget are a major factor in ongoing budget issues. In December, the Ohio House Majority Caucus told 10 TV that the new budget allocated more than $21 billion for public schools over 2 years, which they say is an increase of more than $700 million from fiscal year 2025. Superintendent Dr. Angela Chapman says Columbus isn't alone, and districts across Ohio are facing similar challenges.
And so we think about less state revenue, more legislation that shifts the burden from, to our taxpayers. That means we're going to have to continue to go back to our taxpayers and ask for additional funds.
Right now, a grassroots group called Citizens for Property Tax Reform are gathering signatures to get a measure on the ballot to abolish property taxes. Governor Mike DeWine says he would be very concerned if that happened.
One of the huge threats that is out there, candidly, for not only all schools in the state, but for fire and for police, children's services, I could go on and on, is potentially a constitutional amendment that might go on the ballot. We have looked at this, and it would take if that passed, it would just be devastating to all kinds of local government, starting with schools.
Facing significant cuts to her budget, the clerk of courts did not mince words when she told city council members why she is so concerned.
This proposed budget is the most fiscally irresponsible budget I have experienced in my 20 years of service. The cuts to the clerk's office budget are unacceptable.
Franklin County Municipal Court Clerk Lori Tyak made her remarks at a Columbus City Council Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee budget hearing on January 27th.
The impact on public safety would be crippling, devastating, and deadly.
Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther's proposals call for the Franklin County Municipal Clerk's office to receive $17.9 million from the general fund in 2026, which is a 6.4% cut from 2025. Tyak explains her office gives real-time information to 21 law enforcement agencies throughout Franklin County 24/7. She says officers have to confirm warrants before taking someone into custody, and if officers can't get immediate confirmation from her office, the officer has to sit with a person for hours, tying up resources. What is your response to her concerns?
Well, obviously this is a tighter budget year for everyone, and nearly all the elected officials were able to meet the numbers that we had put forth, and obviously we're going to continue to work with the clerk.
Tyak also explains security to the building would be cut in half for the court building under Ginther's proposed budget.
We need to be focused on results for taxpayers, and the not engage in the back and forth and the over the top.
I realize the city's focus is on balancing the budget in a fair and equitable way. However, I submit to council that no cuts or layoffs to staffing levels in the clerk's office will be fair to the public.
And council is expected to amend the budget and pass their final version by the end of this month. In Columbus, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.
Let's be very clear. This fight is far from over.
Yola Lamare, an advocate for the Haitian Community Network in Central Ohio, joined local leaders to cautiously celebrate the judge's decision.
TPS has been a fundamental core principle utilized as a humanitarian measure by both Democrats and Republicans.
But it's not a permanent decision, and she says her clients are now in legal limbo.
So people who have built their lives here, who have cars, who have investments, who have houses, who have property, who have kids, who have families, they could have been subject to deportation.
Senator Bernie Moreno supports ending TPS for Haitians. After the judge's decision, he posted on X, saying in part, "It's not permanent protected status. This outrageous decision cannot stand." The Department of Homeland Security has already indicated it plans to fight the judge's decision. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin posting on X, "Supreme Court, here we come." And Haiti's TPS was granted following an earthquake that took place over 15 years ago. It was never intended to be a de facto amnesty program. Haiti remains at a level 4 do not travel advisory from the federal government due to kidnapping, crime, terrorist activity, civil unrest, and limited health care. At the press conference, community leaders said Haitian immigrants are safer in Columbus.
This is about standing up for protections for all immigrants, regardless of nationality, language, or the circumstances that brought them here. Today, Columbus stands united.
We're standing next to this frozen mess on East 17th Avenue. Now, we're still working to confirm exactly what caused all of this, but you can see behind me one car and another one behind it frozen and stuck.
We're in a no-win situation. Don't know what to do.
Scott Boham says following the winter storm and a water leak, his and his brother's cars are trapped.
So when they plowed, all the water came with it and just threw it up on the car and it all turned to ice.
We saw similar scenes like this one earlier this week in Columbus's Hilltop neighborhood. Bankrate insurance analyst Shannon Martin says if you find yourself stuck in a situation like this, you should take pictures of the damage and check to see if you have comprehensive coverage.
It's kind of the life happens coverage. So it pays to repair your vehicle from damage other than a collision. So fire, theft, vandalism, and then extreme weather, frozen icicles hitting your car, tree branches hitting your car, things like that.
Martin says there are ways to make it more affordable.
One mistake that people make is when they're looking to reduce the cost of their car insurance, they take off comprehensive and collision because their car's a little bit older, but those are usually two separate coverages and comprehensive is much more affordable.
How frustrating is this for you?
Very, very.
But until this ice is cleared, Boham won't know the extent of the damage.
We've been snowed in a couple times, but we've always been able to dig it out. This is the first time it's been like this.
Martin says things like this aren't really preventable for car owners, but she does recommend that policyholders keep up with their regular maintenance because she says if it's damage that you could have prevented, your insurance may not cover it. Reporting in South Linden, Catherine Simon, 10 TV News.
Oh. it was already fun. We had the last week off because of the Snowtropolis, and then on Thursday we just decided to build an igloo. I mean, it's a really cool thing to build. I thought it was going to be like a one-day project, but it's turned into, how many days has it been? Oh, that's cool. You just start with finding an area that's not super close to your house. Perfect. We made ours about 10 feet in diameter. We might need some right here. And then you just start building it vertical from there. Right here? Yeah. Yeah. It's all about the teamwork, really. Dude! Okay, I can't do 5 jobs at once. You need to make sure we hold the brick. I can hold it if you want. And we have this substance called cement. It's literally just snow and water. Might just need to level it off with some cement. Over here. And overnight, it cools down and it freezes, so it holds the brick in place. So it's really strong. Piece by piece.
Yeah, let's do this one first.
Okay. We thought that if we were gonna actually take the time to do it, color and make it twice as cool. It's amazing. A lot of people have doubled up gloves. It's really cold.
You hand warmers, 2 pairs of socks.
Careful.
And then constantly taking breaks and going inside hot chocolate.
That will work. The hardest part was once it started curving, it made the building way harder. Got it?
I got it, yeah. Ideally, it would be fully covered on top.
Maybe we'll probably finish it very soon, hopefully. We can still work on it after school. It's as good as I can get it. It turned out super cool.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna forget it.
That's a wrap on this week's edition of Around Columbus, your look at the stories shaping Central Ohio. Thanks for spending time with us. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget, you can always get the latest updates on the go with the free 10TV News app.